When Steve Driver told me there was a possibility of getting a presenter to talk about lean information, I thought, great, because then we'll attract all the lean guys here tonight. And I know Mark is out there somewhere. But, I mean, I'm still wondering what they're called. I mean, are they called leaners? Or are they I'm not very sure. Anyway, what? Sorry? Lean twos. We have one of the masters of lean tonight, Roux Cilliers, who's going to talk on lean information.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually a real privilege to be here tonight. And I want to thank Steve for the invitation and for the committee to invite me to here. I've had the privilege of sitting next to the gentleman that was responsible for, right from the start of ICT. This is my first evening with ICT, and therefore, I would hope that in this, what I'm trying to convey to you, that I will open your mind to look at lean in a very different way. Martin and Jason focused on lean manufacturing, and they have highlighted some of the value stream aspects of it. And if you look at my title, you would almost naturally think, well, I'm going to focus on the aspects of lean in the service areas, in the support areas of the business, or maybe, with information in there, maybe it's about information technology and the development of information technology and using lean to make that development process better in the business. Those areas are all very important for lean and for your journey, for your lean journey in your business, but that is not the focus of my presentation this evening. I'm going to focus on information. What I'm going to be basically talk about tonight is pretty new. If you've read about it, then you've read one research report that was done in 2007 in the Bath University. And therefore, it is something that hopefully is going to stretch your mind a bit in terms of the application of lean in a very different area of the business. Information. Now, I think it's fair to say that information drives the business. If you look at any business and you take information out, the business just cannot exist. So information is pivotal. But the key question is actually, is it the information that is important in a business? Actually, no. It's the outcomes. It's the outcomes in the business that is produced by people that applies the information in the business, and that produces the outcomes, and the outcomes produces better or worse results in any organization. It was Peter Drucker, one of the best business brains in our century, that said that information only becomes valuable when it is in the hands of someone that know what to do with it. This is very crucial that you sort of conceptualize this, because we think about information as all of these reports and all of the things that we need to have. They are completely and utterly valueless until the moment that they are effectively applied by someone in the business, or by your customer, or by your supplier, or whoever that information is targeted at, and apply that and do something with it and produce an outcome. That is when information effectively becomes valuable. What I would like to do before I continue is to use an illustration. We have two managers. We have John and Mary. They effectively get pretty much the same information in the business. They're sales managers. However, the reality is that John's results is significantly better than Mary. So why? Why does that happen? John effectively uses the information that he gets from the business, He then takes that, he combines this with his insight in the industry, his knowledge of his customers. He enjoys talking to his customers, so effectively he goes to his customers, he asks them, he gets feedback from the customers, he goes to the sales office, he gets the feedback from the sales office, and in that he effectively gathers the information and that produces his results. On the other hand, Mary, you look at the same information and she glanced through it, but she has a problem because effectively her marketplace is very different. She is faced with a whole bunch of small businesses that she needs to sell to. There's very little information about the behavior of those small businesses available in the business, and there's very little analysis that is taking place. And by the way, manufacturing just doesn't respond very well to her request or her customer's request for all of these ad hoc products that comes in. And suddenly, you know, her results are, you know, much weaker than John's results. Now my question to you is that if you can improve the information, the value that of the information that Mary has about her marketplace, her customers, if you can improve the understanding of manufacturing in terms of what that information mean to them, would that improve your results? Sure it will improve your results. Just as a reminder, I'm pretty sure most of you know the 5 key principles of Lean, and this is a bit of a plug for Womac's new edition of his book that was written quite a long time ago. For those that don't know, Womac is one of the fathers in the West, you know, in terms of it, not from Japan. What I would like to do is in the next couple of minutes, I would actually like to focus your mind of applying these principles that is currently being applied through a broad spectrum in terms of lean optimization in the business, in the processes, on information and how that applies. Starting with the first principle. It's all about value, customer value. So in the case of information, who's the customer? It's the user. It's the user of that information that's the customer. Now whether it's internal or external, it's the user that is the customer. So if Lean effectively are guiding us and almost demands of us to basically focus on value to the customer, value to the user, then we can say that we need to, in our business, we need to start to focus on the information that is valuable to our users. And if we basically can do that, then we're starting to get the information that allows the users to have a better outcome in terms of what they do. Now, how is that done? What do we do to effectively assess that information in terms of its value that it can add to that individual user? Now, it's quite simple. You need to understand what that user wants to do with the information. You also need to understand what is the information that that user would need in terms of effectively optimizing it. Sometimes they don't know. Sometimes it's somebody else that actually need to go and guide them in terms of what is it that you need. But some in that, because we know that one user effectively achieve a much better outcome than another user, there must be a differentiating factor. And a large part, not the only, but a large part of the differentiating factor is the fact that this person deals with the information that he has in a better way than that person is dealing with. And for that reason, they're having a better outcome. So, if our business starts to focus on having and producing the information that matters about the users, we will get into a situation where effectively, not only we will start to produce the information that is valuable, but we will also stop producing a whole range of information that's completely valueless, that's not being used. Would it not be fantastic to basically stop all of those reports and all of those analysis and all of those people that is just sitting there and doing things. It's just not going anywhere. It's not being used. How often does it happen that at the point in time when systems are implemented and developed, what happens is that, you know, the system developers will go around, they will ask, you know, what do you want as a user? They will figure it out, they will produce a report, and they will implement that, and forever and a day, that report becomes part of what the users get. When last did you in your business ask yourself, what information is really valuable for me? What do I need? Actually, what am I doing? And what will help me to do that better? When last did your staff have the opportunity to express what they would want and what they need? And did anybody listen? Or did it just go to IT that then said, well, it's difficult to do it? I think the reality is that to a large extent, our focus is wrong when we talk about information. We are not talking about the information that is valuable to the customer, the user. We are talking about producing stuff. We just get it, and then we need to sort of find our way through this tons of stuff that's coming to us, which effectively goes nowhere.